He's like, it's a Friday. He's like, I wanted to enjoy my weekend. And now I have to clean up shit.
Let's kick this thing off then. Welcome to another entertaining, stupid podcast here. My name is Jayson. My buddies this week are...
Matty motherfucking B.
And Sylvan.
Dan.
We just got demonetized for me swearing within the first 5 seconds.
We always swear.
It's true.
There's no way this is getting monetized.
We don't get monetization anyway. Yeah. We're too small.
Yeah. Alrighty, so this week I thought something that would be cool is... well, my youngest cousin just graduated from high school. Congrats to her, and welcome to the real world. I thought it'd be interesting just to take a brief moment and go back to when we were in high school. Man, things have really fucking changed. I was just wondering if you guys wanted to share some of your experiences, some of your stories, or something like that.
Sure,
I guess
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. If I can remember them.
That is what is it? It's almost a decade.
It's a decade this year, yeah.
It's a We've been out of high school for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're old.
Yeah.
Matty especially, because he's older than me.
I'm old as fuck. Am I the oldest one? No, Dan's the oldest one here.
Maybe. I don't know.
You're born in March.
Yeah, probably.
No, he was held back a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good reason.
Gray Bush.
I don't get that.
I don't either. I don't understand the reference.
Sorry, yeah, my bad. I was sitting there like, everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, am I supposed to respond to that? I don't know what that means. I mean, damn you. Got it.
I'll explain it later.
Okay.
So I guess first off, like, what was everyone's, thoughts about high school? Did you guys really like high school? Not really?
No.
It was fine when I was there. Then coming out of it, kind of realized that, the people I met there didn't really matter to me too much.
Yeah.
Like, I think I met a lot of great people that I wouldn't have met if I didn't go to high school. And I think I got lots of good memories from high school. But, like, I didn't thoroughly enjoy being at high school, if you know what I mean. Like, I think I could have done other things besides going to high school. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really retain many things from any of the classes I took in high school. Because I just went and decided to do my own thing. And I thought college / university was way better than friggin' high school ever was.
Yeah. Just a quick note. My dad is renovating our bathroom, so there's going to be a lot of thumping and thudding in the background. Just a heads up.
Nice.
Yes, Dan? All right.
Yes.
Dan, did you enjoy high school?
I was there.
How many bong rips do you have before you came here?
No, I'm not at all. No, I was just sitting there waiting for everyone else to talk. No, I don't know. I was indifferent. I didn't necessarily hate it, didn't necessarily like it. I was there, I met people I liked, so
yeah.
Overall decent, I guess.
The funniest part is that, like, you're not, don't get me wrong, you're not a drug addict or anything like that, but, like, you didn't even try that stuff in high school, and that's normally when everyone tries it. It came later in life. That's pretty interesting.
Well, for better though, because if I did it earlier, I'd have like a noticeable IQ drop and memory issues. So it's like
because we don't have those right now.
We don't have those right now, but that's
probably some people out there that happened to for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Like we grew up in like the 90s. We reached high school in like early 2000s there. Mm-hmm. Did you guys expected high school to be a little bit different? Like I just remember watching stuff like Dazed and Confused and American Pie and all that kind of stuff, and I thought high school was going to be a lot different than what I experienced.
Yeah, like you think of all those like rager, like they make it as a perception of like there's always rager parties going on and everyone's drinking booze, which to some extent is true because pretty much everyone started drinking booze like in grade 9/10, and then it was pretty much every weekend. It's not like that part wasn't inaccurate, but there's I guess a lot of firsts that you start to realize. I guess we're in high school, like you get to drive for the first time and all that stuff. So I mean to that extent, yeah, but I mean high school, I guess parts of it are accurate. Like like there's always the guys that tease and bully other people, and there's the guys that get picked on lots.
I never because I was in the French program, I was a very sheltered child in high school because I was just like tucked into the corner. It's like you do you, and so I never saw any of that bullying. I never like knew anyone who got bullied.
Well, I think there were some people that got bullied. Like There's a guy who has a different name out there, and it was like the name of a store. I just don't want to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like part something weather. It's like people.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
People would make fun of him.
Really, I didn't.
I
know
think
that.
because of his name and stuff like that, right? But I mean, I saw that and I didn't think that was right. I thought he was a really good guy.
Yeah, I only had one class with him in grade 9.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And I think there's other people that kind of got picked on, but I think a lot of it wasn't just like always on one person. It was just like spread around. Like there's other people in there that would always chirp other people and make fun of them, but it was just at least all around. So, did you have any bullying at your high school?
Oh yeah, no,
That's because you guys were a bunch of animals.
The fact that that school is gigantic, like
It's huge and public schools. So.
yeah. So there's definitely bullying going on, and a lot of the times I didn't even know that it was going on because it just happened in a different part of the school that I just never got into or never knew about. I mean, growing up, it was like Dazed and Confused, Breakfast Club. Like those kinds of movies kind of like structured how I saw, what high school was going to be like. And then, you're stepping through the doors for the first time and I realized that it absolutely isn't like that at all. I mean, maybe it's just because we're up in Canada and, those movies were, structured down in the States. Even stuff like Boy Meets World. Like, I thought high school was going to be like that. Nope, not at all.
Like, is there really that big of a cultural divide though? In between the States and Canada?
Well,
for,
they have
high school
they
life?
call like everything like junior, freshman, senior, right? Like they have all.
Yeah,
that
but I
kind of
mean,
stuff.
like the classes and like general social life of high school students in America can't be that different than ours.
I think there's quite a bit of difference, like in terms of like studies and stuff like that. But that's because I know that some of the education system there isn't funded properly.
Yeah, but like I'm talking like from like what one person will experience in like high school as a whole, not like classes, like how well you did. It's just like the high school experience can't be that much different than ours. Like you go out of class.
Oh yeah,
cafeteria is probably the same.
Yeah.
But like,
have you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think like when he thinks of that, like there's a bunch of like freshying and getting kind of bullied by the seniors and stuff like that. That's a lot of what Dazed and Confused is, right? So it's a little different, and I think there's probably different rituals down there than there is here because when we got to high school, there was like no tolerance for that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
You guys didn't get freshied?
I
not
didn't get
at school.
hard. Not
Not at it's never at school.
They had like they did have a small.
They called it welcome week.
Yeah, it was like welcome, and they had like a small fresh team say, "Hey, you have to go up to that person, like do whatever.
give them a hug or
give
something.
him a hug or give him a kiss
or
something
propose
like that.
to like the popular girl. Or
But-
whatever.
I feel like like we were pretty sheltered and pretty lucky too. Like throughout high school, I feel like because no one really bullied anyone, like you said, like not majorly that I know of, and I think there was some going on, but it never affected me personally or any of my friends that I know of.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, like I think my parents were super cool throughout it all, and I think most of our parents were like, when people found out we started drinking, it's like, okay, well, I'll hook you up with some booze and just only this amount and this and that, but they were there to be there. And
Call me when you need a ride.
Yeah, they were all super cool about it, right? Which is pretty lucky, Did you have that kind of same experience, or was it completely different?
My dad's a bit of an alcoholic, so there's always a fridge full of beer and like bottles of whiskey and scotch around. So that's sort of I just snagged one, and my dad didn't never really notice.
He noticed.
He
I can
definitely
guarantee he noticed. He just didn't.
He just
didn't
never
care.
meant-
He just didn't
mentioned
care,
it,
I guess. But yeah, I mean, I would just snag stuff off the shelf there, and I would show up to high school parties with a bottle of Johnny Walker Black.
Oh my god!
As my friends are downing, Budweisers and the Bacardi Breezers and stuff like that, and I'm sitting there going, okay.
I remember the first time I ever got messed up. I think we just did because it was like someone snuck in a Mickey of vodka, like Smirnoff, and it was just shit. And all you would do is have a little. You would take the cap of the Smirnoff and you dump the freaking vodka in there, and that was your shot. And then you just swig it down, and you're like, "Bleh." It's like nail polish remover.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
It's bad.
The first time I got really fucked up wasn't even in high school.
Oh really?
It was my 19th birthday, and I still blame one of our mutual friends because it was like a Wednesday. I turned 19 on a Wednesday, and so my parents and my aunt and uncle, my uncle who was my boss at the time, Took me out for supper to the bar. We had a couple drinks. Fine. We literally pay our bills, and we are getting up to leave.
Yeah.
And who walks in but Stefan?
Oh, frick. Oh, God. What did he order you? Ouzo?
It was everything.
Oh, God.
But so like my uncle like sees me, sees him, hands me $20, and then walks out. So I think he knew already that I wasn't going into the next day. But yeah, it was like 6 a.m. I am passed out in the bathroom. I wake up. I didn't even know how I got downstairs.
Oh, my God.
Don't remember anything of like. It might have been like midnight was the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
And
Holy
I wake
shit.
up at 6 a.m. My alarm's been going off for like 20 minutes already.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't even stand.
Oh, my
So I
God.
had to call my uncle, just plastered, and tell him how I wasn't going to be at work that day.
And he just laughed, probably.
Oh, yeah,
like,
he laughed at me because he knew. Like,
Yeah. Well, you turn 19, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got 5
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
They've all gone through it.
For
so.
sure. Well, I know in particular, like one story that I think is a funny story from high school was there was a party. It was an acreage party, and it was like near Humboldt. Like it was like pretty far out, and it was one of her buddy's girlfriend's place at the time there when they were dating, and there was like a pool and everything like that, and there was a ton of people there. There must have been like 30 or 40 people. Like there was lots of people there, and my parents drove me out there with a bunch of buddies, and their only rule was like if you throw up, you're getting kicked out of the car, right? Like, no, don't get so messed up that you're throwing up and we have to drive back into town like that. So we go there, and for some reason, we all jump in this, like, it's above ground pool, which is so stupid to begin with. So we're all soaking wet and freezing by the time nighttime comes. We're all hammered, and lo and behold, like, there's 5 of us back in my parents' van, and they're driving us home, and I'm the one who fucking pukes, and I puke all over myself, and, like, this guy's right beside me. He's Robin, right? And he's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Matt, you're so gross. Oh, for fuck's sake." And I felt so bad, but like, I don't remember a thing. Like, I was passed out when I puked, man. It was like that crazy. Like, I'm lucky that I was like at least sitting up straight because like, oh man, it would have been bad if I was sleeping on my back or something. Yeah. But it was just, like, out of anyone, I'm the dumbass that fucking pukes.
I mean, it's probably better for your parents though, because they're like, at least it's my idiot that's doing this.
Oh yeah, I had to clean out the car the next day.
Yeah, because I'd be pretty upset if like it was like my kid's friend that puked in my car.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the hell?
Like, seriously, can't you pick your friends better?
Yeah, it was me, the idiot, that did it. Yeah, so it was pretty funny.
I mean, it wasn't me, but there's one. I remember this one party I went to in high school. It was Halloween, and the one guy just got so fucking done. He passed out on the rug in the middle of the basement, and like he was a pretty beefy boy, and he was probably north of 220 or so at the age of like 16, and like
that's huge.
Jeez.
The host needed him out of the house, and we're like, yeah, none of us are going to be able to drag his ass out of here. So we dug through his pocket, found his phone, called up his mom. His mom had to come, and then just started berating him until he fucking like woke up essentially, and his mom dragged his ass.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Out of the party there.
How embarrassing is that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
like, you know how much he would get chirped on the next.
Oh yeah.
Like
well,
one
no,
day.
that happened at one of our other Actually, I was one that hesitate on names because I'm like, I don't want to necessarily say anyone's name.
I'll probably just bleep them out anyways.
Yeah, I was like, if you bleep them out, then that works better. But Kevin had a bunch of parties, right? And he always had his house parties, and I remember the one, and I can't remember the girl now, and I'm okay with that. But it was like halfway through the party, and her dad came in. And her dad and her mom,
remember that.
And her dad came and grabbed her because she was pretty drunk and like literally lifted her over. I think it was like over her shoulder almost, right? Or like a fireman carried her.
I think it's because she was throwing up in the bathroom.
Yeah, she was throwing up in the bathroom.
So sick. I remember that.
Went up
sick.
and grabbed her, then dragged her out, and everyone's like sitting there like, okay.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, like, hey, she got out of there and everything.
I can't remember who that was though.
I can't. And then good,
I
right?
can't
But I can remember. Yeah, the
You
grabbing.
can remember
like
the
this.
event, but just not
It was
the
like a
name.
fireman like grabbing someone and trying to get them out of the building.
I did that with my high school girlfriend. Like, she was so fucking like done at this one house party that I had to. I dragged her ass home to carry her. I'm a professional wrestling fanatic, right? Yeah. So I put her in a half or full Nelson lock to get her up into a standing position, and then I dropped down and a fireman carried her out of
Oh my god.
the house and into my car, and then drove her home and essentially did the same thing. I was just carrying fireman carried her up to the door, rang the doorbell. Her dad answered, and I was like, "Yeah, this is your problem now." I just handed her over.
Oh man, I got some funny. Like, do you have any funny moments like of like during like class and stuff like that?
Oh, one for me I always enjoyed, and like I think we already told. I may have already told this one about Stefan and calculus. I may have. I'm not 100 percent sure if I did.
I know, I
But
It's
dropped calculus.
no one's listening to those little podcasts anyway. It doesn't
no,
matter.
it's all good. I'll redo it then, if anything. But my favorite thing was calculus was there, and like it was a class, right? We were all in there, and like everyone, there's a few people who are super overachievers and like got 9900s, and the rest of us mortals that just said, okay, I'm good enough with anything that's above like a 60 or 50, right? Anyway, so this one friend of ours was quite spectacular at math. So he always did well, and so every time after the class, or
I don't
during
think
the
it
class,
was calculus. I think it was B30 because
No,
I was
it-
in your class.
it was calculus too.
yeah,
I did it. I kept doing it.
I just remember in B30.
Yeah.
I remember
So
B30.
funny.
Well,
Okay,
okay, it
it
was
was-
like one of the few classes I had with
Yeah.
him.
Well, I remember B30 I did it, but I also did it in calculus later on. Like I kept doing it to him every class I had with him. And then what I do is that like every time the test would come back, I'd be like, hey Stefan, I'd yell across the room, right? Like I would literally be across the room like, hey Stefan, what'd you get? Hey Stefan, what'd you get? And I always ask.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember you were specifically behind him in B30, and like you're like two seats behind him, but like in the same row. And you're like, "Hey, Stefan, hey, what'd you get?"
What'd you get? Yeah,
and you yell out, and he's like, "I'm not telling you, Daniel." Stefan, what'd you get? What'd you get? And he would just cave in. And he's like, 88. Oh, we got a smarty pants, Stefan. We got a smarty. Everyone look. Oh, Stefan's got an 88. He's a smarty. Like, just like that. The one I remember that pissed me off to this day when I think about it, we were doing a run for charity, like our math class. We all signed up for it. And it was like, we all signed up for 10K thinking it was going to be super easy. And Dan signed up for it too. And Dan, no show to the run.
I slept in.
And
I completely
the
slept
whole
in.
thing was like this. Like, if you guys do the run, we'll have a pizza party in our class. We're like, sweet. And we all do the run. I've never run in my life. And I'm like 245
that
pounds.
was a big boy back
Yeah. And I've never ran in my life. And I completed it under 2 hours. I was pretty proud of myself. But I was dying like a motherfucker. And then Dan comes in and eats the most pizza out of anyone at the pizza party. Yeah! Like, you suckers had to run. I just got free pizza.
Yeah, I paid my money. I paid for the pizza. There was a $20 fee to get in, and I paid it. They don't give a damn if I'm there. I already paid the money.
Well, and I think it was like a competition between a bunch of classes,
Yeah.
right? Because it was like whoever had the most entrants would get the pizza party, I think.
Yeah,
and we ended up winning it. And then Dan was just eating all the pizzas, like, "Oh, thanks so much, guys, for running. Oh, I can eat the pizza."
But like the thing I always enjoyed, and I want to go quickly back to Stefan. Is like, especially like it was B30, but then it was calculus later on as well.
Yeah.
And calculus, there was a girl in the class, and I can't remember her name to the life of me, but she always got like 98, 99, always. And Stefan was always just a little bit behind her.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that he would, I remember one time I think he even made fun of the fact that like how she would always be so upset that she got 99 and not 100, right? Like didn't get 100. And then whenever he got his test back, same thing. But instead of being behind him, I was across the room. I remember just distinctly going, "Hey, Stefan, and he would hide. He'd try to hide behind the person like next to me, like, "Dan, I'm not telling you. Stefan, what'd you get, buddy? What'd you get? Stefan, what'd you get? Come on, just tell what you got, buddy." You know, I just keep saying that over, and he'd break, or I would literally. Eventually, he stopped showing me entirely. Stopped telling me. He would hide it. I would go near him just so I could see over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then immediately, while I'm over his shoulder, I'd go like, my volume level right already up. Oh, look at this guy right here, Stefan. Oh, boo-hoo, you only got 96, Stefan, not 100. And I would say it out in the middle of class, like, "Oh, Stefan, oh, Mr. Brain, tough luck for you." And then everyone, like, and it was funny, at that point, people would jump in on him, too. Right? People would, like, they believe me to an extent. And they jump in on him. And I just sat there going, I'm like, and he would give me looks that just let me know that, like, I was everything he hated.
Which is funny because you guys are really good friends.
Oh, yeah, but, like, at that moment, he would look at me with just absolute disdain, like, "You piece of shit." Because he'd try to hide his test scores, and I'd always find them.
Stefan's sitting there with like high 80s, Dan sitting there with like low 60s.
Yeah. Actually, I'll admit, now there's one more now that I'm thinking of. Not with him, but with Kevin in drama class. And so the whole thing in drama class, every time, Kevin had a history of wearing a few pants with like the pre-ripped jeans, right? Yeah, like that's real ripped. But they had like pre-ripped jeans, like pre-holes, like frayed.
Yeah.
And
You buy them ripped.
You buy them ripped. The only problem is he had these one pair. He had these like one jeans, and he'd cycle out, and they were all the same, similar style. But he'd cycle them out, and every time in drama class, it was me, Stefan,
Wasn't it Adam Morrison?
Yeah. Sorry, burping. Me, Stefan, Adam Morrison. I just remember every single class, we would all fight for a spot to sit next to Kevin.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea was that we like it's a bit crude at the time, but like Kevin. Like, we're going to finger your hole, Kevin. We're going to get in that hole, Kevin. Kevin, we're going to get in that hole. And then we'd always sit, and we'd constantly try to stick, like, fingers or hands or anything into Kevin's head and touch his legs. Because every time the thing that made it is Kevin's response. Like, he's always like, oh! And he'd always do that every time he did it. And so he'd go there, and, like, if you did it for longer, he'd go further. He'd go, oh! And then, like, he would do that. And then we'd live with the reaction. And we all did it to the point where Kevin's jeans actually got ripped. We got so aggressive, we ripped a hole in his pants. And then he sat there, he's like, God, that was the moment where we stepped to it. It was Morrison with his big ass hands. I just remember Kevin sitting there actually being mad at that point. He's like, guys, come on. Like it was up until that point it was funny, but when we ripped the hole, that was the end of the game.
Oh,
that
man.
game stopped after that, but it was a good game.
I have another funny story too. Like, it was at grade 9. It was general fine arts, and it was like the music portion. So like you either had to do some kind of musical thing, like with instruments, or you could do research on like a classical musician. And I think we had Mozart, and I was partnered with a guy. His name's Brandon Wicks. And he goes, so you get to go, if you do that presentation, you get the classical and then a current like musician. So he goes, he didn't even give me a choice. Like, you're getting Mozart and I'm doing Iron Maiden. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I legitimately, like in grade 9, I was really trying. So I'm like doing all my work and I do everything on Mozart. Like I do all the things, like make a nice, poster kind of going through the years of his life and then have I think it was Beethoven, not Mozart. And then I had a thing, I downloaded on my iPod to play the music, what it was and everything like that, and his most famous song. So I do my presentation part first, and then Brandon's next. And Brandon goes in there, and he goes, Matt, just give me a heads up. I definitely just did it 20 minutes before we have to present it. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I copied and pasted everything from Wikipedia. So he's trying to like explain everything, and he's freaking out because you're presenting to the entire group, right? He's freaking sweating, man. He's freaking out. And at one point, he's just like, and Iron Maiden was, I copied and pasted everything. And he goes, he just puts his head down. And everyone's just like, what? And then I'm like, and then he's like, here's some music. And then he plays some music. And then everyone claps. I'm like, you fucking idiot. Why wouldn't you just pretend?
You ratted
Like,
yourself
he ratted
out.
himself out. And thankfully, because I did all the work legit, and the teacher knew that there was 2 sides to it, right? We got like an 85.
Yeah.
But like it was just so funny how Brandon goes, I copied and pasted everything. Right in front of like 35
ratted
people.
yourself out. Joke's on you.
Oh man. I guess another funny story, it's not from high school, but do you guys ever have like a teacher that's just way too nice, even if it was just like elementary or something like that, like super nice person, super positive? So we had this older teacher, and he would say, let's say he's like in his 60s, right? When he was teaching us in grade 5. And there was this one classmate I have, like he'd always get in trouble every day. Like, and the punishment was always to go to the hallway because you're misbehaving, right? Back in elementary. And this guy, like he's always getting in trouble. And then our teacher would always he'd always have a microphone. He had one of those attached mics that like so he could talk louder. And he'd always bring it with him, like, if he had to go to the bathroom or the sink. And one time he pulled a prank on us and made it sound like he was taking a whiz. But he was just filling up a pot of water. And we're just like, oh, he's peeing. And our buddy, the buddy of mine, he runs to the hallway trying to peek on him and see where he is. And then when he'd start walking, he'd run back. He's like, cue ball's coming, because he was bald. He's like, it's cue ball is coming. And the teacher found him one time sneaking out. And he's like... I'm just going to say his name, Robin, you're in trouble. He goes, what? He's like, yeah, here. your punishment is you have to hold my hand. He grabs his hand. He's like, no, get away from me. Get away. He's like, no, you're walking with me down the hallway holding my hand. And he's like, no. He was so embarrassed and so pissed off. And that was his punishment, was just to hold his hand. He's like, no, you're going to have to hold my hand.
That's an effective punishment, though. Good for him.
It was so funny, man. Oh.
What's another one? I think we were both in the same shop class in grade 9, I think.
Oh, was it 10, I think?
9 or 10.
With
I can't remember.
the electrical thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, go with that one.
Fucking.
I was in that one.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was.
So this one friend, Eric, he has a tendency to just not think anything through and just act completely on impulse. So he just decides one day he's just going to punch a bunch of holes with like a screwdriver or something into the drywall.
Yep.
Of the electrical room. Just cause.
And some other guy was nagging him to do it
Yeah.
too. Like he just would succumb to peer pressure really easily.
So, like, the teacher finds it and tells him, all right, you got to fix this. And then completely forgets about it for like the entire semester.
I'd say like 2 or 3 months he forgot
just
about
completely forgot about it until like the second last day of
Before finals.
Before finals, one of the guys in the class, I think the guy was egging him on.
Well, yeah, they were like chirping each other, and then all of a sudden this guy goes, "Hey, Mr. Kwan, when is Eric Coet gonna fix these walls?" And we're all in this electrical thing, and he's helping one. There's one guy like behind doing woodwork, and he's like helping him out, and he just comes walking in. He just like looks up to the ceiling and he goes, "Coet, when are you gonna fix these walls?"
But it just like dawned on him. He just like snapped and he's like, right, I forgot about that. like having a good morning to just being pissed off immediately. And it was great.
Oh my god, it was so funny. He's like, "Go, when are you gonna fix these balls?" And then he's like, "Fuck, damn it, why'd you have to mention it?"
That's like what was it? It was the same IA class, and I remember we had Christian ethics after it. I think IA was first semester.
Yeah, it was
not first semester, but first
class of the
day.
Yeah.
We did IA, and then after IA, we go to Christian ethics. I remember, and every single class, these two guys would screw with each other. And the one guy would constantly try to put things from IA
like
class,
sawdust,
like
and all
sawdust or bits or parts of electrical, any wires into the other guy's bag without him knowing, or into his like book bag, and he wouldn't know until he went to Christian ethics to open it up. And like every single day, it turned into like a game where we just like, I wonder what he got today. And like I think the best thing he ever did was an entire welding mitt. Yeah. An entire welding mitt in his bag. And then I remember him opening it up, and then like the look of absolute like, go fuck yourself, because every time we'd have to walk back and return it.
That's so funny.
And then like wasn't there a fire at one point too, because someone's electrical caught fire because we had to set up little outlets. And
Yeah,
we were all essentially, how the class is set up was we had all a bunch of 2x4s, and we just had to hook up an outlet, right, to like a light. So we'd screw the light in,
wire in the outlets.
and we were wiring it. I remember one guy's caught fire. I remember distinctly.
It smoked. Yeah, his box caught fire.
His box caught fire. It started smoking. And then on the other end of it, what ended up happening, especially for the final,
someone messed with him. He's like, "No, you have to wire it this way."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh, okay." And he wired it, and he's like, "Plug it in." And then he plugged it in, and it just caught fire.
Yeah, it caught fire. Someone was fucking with him. And then the same class, I remember at the very end, it was a harder one to wire. I think all that ended up happening, I can't remember who, but a few of us in the class, or a few people in the class got it right.
Yeah.
Like, and then just unscrewed the whole thing, and instead of taking it apart, just gave the whole circuit to someone else.
Man.
So they would just hook it up and pretend like it was theirs. I remember that.
Man, we cheated so much. I know I cheated so much in high school. I don't know about you guys, but oh man. Like I would like copy Sylvan's French homework when we were in grade 9, and I'd walk up to the teacher, pretend to ask a question, and hand it behind my back, like his homework back and all that. And I just, because it was a dumb class and she was such a horrible teacher, you're like, I don't care about this homework. Oh man, did you ever cheat in high school?
Yeah, I cheated on my chemistry final because the chemistry class was actually set up like a regular science class where you had those long tables that you would work on. And me and my buddy were at the table and we were writing the stuff. And what we would do for each other is we would spread everything out
Yeah.
All of our papers like outwards. So I'd be working on stuff, and like if he didn't know what the answer was, or couldn't figure out the formula, or he'd tap his page, and I'd just catch it in the corner of my eye, and I'd go through my test, find that page, my answer on it, and I'd just sort of like spread everything outwards, and we just copied off each other for like 3 hours for that final.
I think it's so silly. Like even in college, like they make you memorize equations, like formulas and all that. It's like, dude, just give us the formula. Like, why do you have to memorize the formulas? Mm-hmm. What's that going to do? Because you're not going to really use it in the real world. If you need it, you have it in front of you.
No, like I will admit, like high school, I don't necessarily know. Like there's probably a few things I don't think I significantly cheated. Not in high school. I think I started like there's a few times, especially towards the end of nursing, when I didn't care about school at all.
Yeah.
Like when you don't give a shit and you're like, I'm just gonna pass.
Yeah,
I'll do anything to pass.
I'd have a calculator and I had pencil and I'd write the formulas on my calculator so that I could remember them.
Yeah,
but it's not like I know it's cheating.
Yeah.
But it's not really. It's the formula. I'm not getting any answers out of it. I have to use the formula.
For nursing, same thing. There was a few like I couldn't remember 100% like the different kind of like measurements as far as like fluid and like milli equivalent and trying to do like the equations for meds. Yeah. And I didn't want to memorize them and so I same thing. I made a little cheat sheet just so I knew what the equations were. Yeah. Yeah. And then at the same time they didn't let us. I'm like, well, fuck it. I don't want to memorize these. I have other things I'm trying to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just a bad student, but at least I failed just as me.
Yeah, right? That's a good thing. No, and that's why I realized though afterwards it's unfortunate because then the long-term effect though, right?
Yeah.
It's true that you start to rely on it and then you don't learn something. And like when it came to the actual clinical setting, I'm like, I don't know fucking anything. That was towards the end when I really didn't care about school. Yeah. But still, at the same time, like, man, I'm like, my peers are so much more knowledgeable than me.
But you won't learn anything until you go out and to do it.
Oh no, of course.
Like you can they can educate you on it, but until you go and do it, you as soon as you get there, you'll be so overwhelmed you won't remember anything anyway. No. So you just gotta try it. It's like trial and error at that point.
I think that I'm sure with you guys too, but I'm very hands on. Like if I get to actually practice something, like any kind of medical device, you could run me through like a little list. It's so much easier just going like, hey, you unscrew this, put this in, fill it up to this line. Like all that would be so much easier.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm the same way.
I sold essays to students. Yeah.
Wow.
In like high school?
In high school, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I would because up until grade 12, I'd actually put effort into writing my essays and stuff like that. So I'd go through 3 or 4 revisions before I handed in my essays, and then years down the line, I would sell them to people who failed the class or whatever. And like, all right, here's draft 1 of the paper that I wrote. They buy it off of me and then rework it into their own words.
Well, that's smart.
The only problem is that if they don't do a good job of it, then your teacher comes back and goes, hey, it doesn't. I guess at that point you've already passed it, but still,
it's not like they're gonna remember everything word for
word
anyway.
And I feel like actually that's the one thing I remember was really funny. And I learned this especially in nursing, is that like Wikipedia may or may not be the best source. It isn't, but it has a lot of sources in Wikipedia.
Yeah, it does.
And you go to a lot of theirs, and then so what you would do is then you go to Wikipedia, grab a lot of things from there, and then just go, well, their sources are these. Go to their sources, source the entire source, or like the entire website, and be like, well, go read through that if you want. It's definitely in there.
I find with essays, like it's all about like, hey, like you put your own little opinion on it, or you say, based on the source, and you have a whole paragraph, and then you're like, you put your little opinion under it. You're like, oh yeah, I agree with this, and yada yada.
I gave up on English in grade 12. Like we were supposed to be like reading like all like Canadian literature and like Hamlet and stuff like that. Bad. I had a friend who was in the same class as me. She would read everything, give me like a little synopsis of it, like 5-minute synopsis on each chapter or something like that, and I would just base all of my essays and my writing and everything like that off of what she gave me.
And I basically did the same thing in grade 12, because like in grade 12 I just didn't care about anything. Like I showed up hungover and late to my math final in grade 12, but in my English class I didn't read the Book of Negroes, and it's like a 500-page book.
Yep.
Didn't read it at all. Handed in all my homework, just complete bullshit, and still passed with like a 70.
Yeah. Wow. I would ask someone who actually read it, like, give me a little synopsis, and then I would do my homework or my paper.
I didn't even care to do that.
And someone did that. I was like, okay, sweet.
Yeah, grade 12, like I just gave up. Like me and my buddies would go out to the driving range at lunch. Hit a bunch of balls around and then show up to the class after lunch, like halfway through or something like that. And we just walk into our math class, sit down, and we just join in, and the teacher didn't mind. I don't know why she didn't give a fuck, but like we would just show up, a half hour late into class, and it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, man, like we lived in a generation too. When you think about it, like where everything was like popular was like downloading it off LimeWire or something like that. Everyone had
Giving your computer
iPods.
cancer just
Everyone
to
had
get
flip
free music.
phones, and now it's all iPhones, touch based. Everything it's essentially a computer on their phone. And we had like those computers, those crappy, crummy with CD-ROMs and
Yeah.
everything like that. We just like everyone was starting to just use USBs, to bring in for all their storage and files on there. So
Did you
Yeah,
guys
'cause I remember
ever?
floppy disk. I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah, using
floppy
floppy
disk.
disks
Yeah.
in elementary school.
Oh,
I remember always playing with the sliding, whatever the hell the sliding like dust cover was. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
The
you
metal
just
clip.
constantly flick it back and forth. The one thing,
The original fidget spinner.
well, they were that, and the one thing I always thought, without a doubt, though, the coolest phone was easily the Razor. When
Oh,
the Motorola
man.
came with the Razor.
It
Didn't matter.
it's so
Anyone with
cool.
the Razor, you're like, man, it just looks cool.
Yeah, dude.
And it's slick. And
Yeah.
I remember when that was still when Nokia was the indestructible.
Yeah.
If you had Nokia, you was still it was indestructible.
Indestructible,
You
yeah.
put that in a sock and used it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
I went to the movies with a buddy one time. We were sitting on one end of the theater, and he's like, "Yeah, can I see your phone for a second?" So I hand him my phone. He grabs it and chucks it across the theater, and he's like, "Okay, all right." And then at the end of the movie, went and picked it up, and it was perfectly fine.
Jeez.
Huh.
Also, why would you leave it for the whole movie?
Yeah, why didn't you go grab it right away?
Because it would be rude.
Oh, like was it during the movie already started?
Yeah.
Oh, shite. Dang.
That's not a very good friend.
No, do you remember like the what is it? It was either the Razor or the LG chocolate. I think
Yeah, that
that's
was
what
cool
it-
too. The
what
LG
everybody
chocolate.
got.
Was that the
Everybody
one that you could turn sideways and lift up like a keyboard would be there?
had. No, I think that's like a sidekick or something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I think the one as far as for high school in general, like I want to try to see if I can get one topic down pat with high school. Like for high school and you guys, did you feel like, or what clique do you think you belonged in high school? If you were to say like, because as much as we all understand, there was still cliques, right? Like you could see them. Like when you went into the extended buildings, there'd be like the kind of weird. Essentially, I remember calling them the weird kids, the ones that always sat on the floor against the lockers. You're like, why are you always sitting on the floor? Like, and you're not in the cafeteria with everyone. So like, in your guys' own words, what clique do you think you belong to?
The French kid clique.
Yeah, you were essentially you were quarantined. Like you were like
it wasn't my choice.
You're in a reserve.
I jumped around a lot. I remember very early on, I was hanging out with all the sports kids, playing basketball, football, and that kind of stuff at the very beginning. I think as I sort of went through high school, I eventually landed to like, I guess like the band and drama kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a clique, man.
Matthew was his own clique.
There
Everyone
were so many
gravitated
people I
around
hung
him.
out with.
I mean,
like,
with the amount of mass that he had,
I think,
everyone
like
definitely
you know
had-
me, like I hung
Yeah.
out with so many different people,
Yeah.
and they never hung out with everyone. Like I would hang out with like Brandon and like some of those guys. We'd all play hockey in the outdoor rink. But then I'd hang out with Stefan and Kalen and all of them, and then I'd hang out with Rael, Sylvan, and them, and then I never had only one group.
You kind of hopped. You kind of hopped from group.
Yeah,
to
I
group.
just had a lot of friends. Like I'm pretty lucky. Like that's the one thing I think about high school, which is awesome. I met a ton of good friends that I still call good friends to this day. Like even if I haven't seen them in 2 years or whatever, haven't talked to them much or over phone call or text or anything like that. If I see them, they're still my friend. We can reconnect like that. So I find that there's just so many groups of people I hang out with. I'm really lucky for that, and I'm lucky because I was big back then, and no one ever made a fat joke at me or anything like that. So I was pretty lucky about that. Too,
Yeah, I think it's because you had so many friends at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
actually
was like
the thing. You surrounded
everyone
yourself.
realized that nobody picks on Matthew.
Yeah.
Nobody picks on Matthew. It's like a crime. It's like punching a kid.
I got lucky, man. Like I was super lucky.
Yeah.
I never got bothered once.
No. Well, but it Syl's right though. It's almost like it's true. Once you have such essentially a harem around, a harem of men around you, Matty. But once you have that many people around you, everyone is. It's almost like it's almost like, well, if you talk shit around him, if any one of them is your actual friend, then they'll talk back, right? Or they won't allow it.
No, for sure. And then there was even people like I hung out with you, Dan and Kevin and Connor and them, but not like a ton. And then I think after high school, we even all got closer too. And we all became way closer friends. I ended up living with Connor. I never thought I'd live with Connor.
Yeah, right?
So it's just things like that where you're like, oh, I'm pretty lucky that we all went to the same place and got to know each other that way. So
Yeah,
That's
same.
true.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because if I was gonna say, I was definitely part of the popular kids, easily.
You were a tryhard. Danny sweater vest every day.
Danny sweater
Mike
vest.
2.0, man.
You know what? Hit me out. No. I'm kidding. If anything, I was one of the people. I'm like, I want to be a popular person. Like truly, like, it's like I'm like, because again, I'd be like, well, Mike does it, I can do it, right? I'm like, I can do it, he does. So, but essentially, like, the best thing I was saying, like, I always turned into a class clown regardless of where I was.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. That's what
You're
made
so
you
funny, man.
Gave you your popularity.
Yeah,
like everybody knows. Okay, yeah, Dan's the class clown. He's always good for a laugh.
Yeah, so essentially that was my thing. So I never really, and I'm like Matt though, I was never really part of a specific group. Yeah. I could jump a little bit from group to group, and I could make a comment or I could make a joke and kind of get out of it. And just, or be like, I could like blend on the wall. Yeah. But I'd like, no, I would never consider myself actually one of the, because I remember there was a distinct clique of popular kids, and and everyone knew them. Yeah. And they even had their own like kind of table. And like, I remember at one point, because like Brandon Wicks was part of that. And I remember when I first saw Matt hang out with Brandon Wicks, I'm like, oh, so he's one of them. Was it? No, not like that. But I remember I sat there and I'm like, it was funny because you would almost play like, not play a game of like sociable or a social chain, but like you'd look at high school, and I remember it distinctly. And I remember one time it was with Brandon. It was Matt hanging out with Brandon. I'm like, well, I know Brandon from elementary school. He never really liked me, though, because he was into sports. I don't understand sports. Like, but Matt understands sports. I'm like, and I'm kind of friends with Matt. Matt's friends with him. I'm like, I can use that. Yeah. I can use that. And, like, not like, and it sounds like a rude way, but he chooses him like, well, he knows him, so I can know him through him. Mm-hmm. So it's that, and then... Yeah, it's interesting how high school worked like that, though. Yeah,
man, it's kind of crazy, and like the funny part is like me, you, Connor, and all of them. Like I never went to elementary school with them, but I knew all because we all played hockey together because we were all in the same area for hockey, so we'd always play on the same teams. So
we always play on the same team. So I knew all those guys through hockey originally. Yeah. Like Stefan, I remember originally actually, I'll admit when I first knew Stefan, I always thought he was a bit of a ruffian. Yeah, because like he was always a bit ornery, and I think it's because I always pissed him off. Yeah, that was kind of my thing. Like I would always like step on him, or I would do something to like peeve him, like just make him angry, just my personality. Yeah. I remember at one point I'm like, well, he's just kind of a jerk. I'm like, I don't really like him, right? And then in high school I'm like, okay, he's not a jerk, he's just kind of goofy, but he's in his own way. Yeah. But yeah, high school was interesting for that. The one thing I always noticed though, and like especially I saw like more so in like depending on the different groups, because like if you jumped like from group to group, like you were French, so it's unfortunate, not French, but you're unfortunately like quarantined, so you didn't really see that side of it.
Well, and also like I don't think I ever ate in the cafeteria. I never went to the cafeteria because I lived so close to the school.
The pierogies were on fire, dude.
Go home and I would make myself lunch at home because it was way better.
And it was I remember the cafeteria was like really when you saw the cliques in full action, because you'd sit with only your own kind. You know, it's like you don't mix with the other, like, and that's why I remember distinctly the one time too, and it was one lunch period. It was like I think it was Stefan, you, and someone else was sitting with like Brandon and the other kids. I'm like, wait. This is mingling. This isn't what we do. We all sit at the same table. Yeah. Like and then that's when you realize that people were starting to actually kind of like, okay,
everyone started branching on grade 12.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, this is our last year. Right?
It was the early grades we were all very condensed. Later grades we started to mingle. And then towards the very end of it, I think that unfortunately you could see in the cafeteria, and like I knew every time, like you knew the table of people who were kind of the outcasts, or the ones that like they were always in. I remember they were always in the left corner, because they were the left corner. We were like the left middle, always, and then like everyone always had like a distinct section. And like to this day, I still remember everyone who sat at that table.
I find that if you're like severely introverted in high school, it hurts you quite a bit.
It does,
because you don't get you just don't feel comfortable talking to a lot of people, right? So you don't get to know as many people. It's not their fault, but it's harder, right? Because no one is going to go out of the way to talk to you because they don't really know you, and you don't know who they are.
Well, and you don't know who they are, and I think that like we passed on earlier with you too, or with anyone, like when you have a group, or when you're comfortable in a big group, and everyone knows you in a big group, so you're not like you're not weird, you're not outcast. When you're outcast, you're easier to make fun of, you're easier to pick on, you're easier to do all that. Whereas like if you're in the middle of it, like I know without a doubt in high school, like I had like there was a lot of jokes I'd say and be like they would just be so fucking weird, no one would get them, and I'm like, okay, that really bombed. I'm like, I can just slink this one away eventually, right? But if you were anyone else like it, and if you were in a situation where you came in, and I know one guy in particular in drama who like, and now I realize he had a bit of he had a Asperger's. At the time I didn't know that. Yeah. But he would come out and he would say things that would be and honestly to me I thought they were funny. He actually had some.
I know what you're talking about.
And it was some funny shit. And I really enjoyed it. But to everyone else, it was so weird. He was
pretty hardcore.
Yeah, but he was on the outside, and when you're on the outside and you make a weird comment, and everyone goes, "Oh, he's just the weird kid." And instead of like, "Oh, he's he's fucked up and funny. It's like, no, he's weird. There's like, and that because like and
he wasn't a bad guy though. Like,
no,
and actually, no one really picked on him hard. Like they all knew he was weird.
Yeah,
but it's not like they actually went out of the way to like push him around or anything.
No,
like that,
I don't think anyone did it. But like I'd say
at least in my recognition.
Yeah, behind closed doors, I still heard a bunch of things said about him. But like, that wasn't, and that's just the nature of kids and bullying. But,
and that's just the nature, I think, of everyone. Yeah. They'll talk behind people's backs.
But like I never, it was interesting just to know the cliques in there. And like for you, Jayson, in your school, was there one predominant or one like? Because I know everyone had like, and I think our group was one of the biggest groups, right? And like again, I say this with Syl, but you were still part of it, but you were
like I wasn't outside the group, but I wasn't in the group. I was like kind of in a midway zone.
You're in the periphery.
Like I knew Matt from
grade 9.
Like grade 9. I knew Stefan from grade 9 and Kaylin. Yeah. Like I knew all like the main players of that clique, but I didn't know Brandon. I didn't know.
I got lucky because I got placed in a bunch of like classes with the English kids right away. And after grade 10, I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in French. Not because I regret it. Like I wish I would have gotten my French diploma.
Which
I guess
is
you could say.
The opposite of me. I wish I hadn't.
But
I haven't used it.
I wish. I know that's the thing. I wish I did it just to say it because I was so close to it. When you think about it, you do like 11 years of French, and part of my family is French, so I have a background in French. But I was just like, no, screw it. I want to meet new people. I want to hang out with people that, I get stuck and tied down to having to be doing all these forced French classes. And I hope that's not what it is today. But, like, it just forces you not to be able to meet people. And I was like, I want to hang out with new people. I want to be with some of my friends. Like, Stefan moved to English right away and all that. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to English. And I went to the English, and my parents thankfully supported me. I don't think my mom was very happy at the time. But I'm like, I need to go into English. That's what I want to do. There's electives you can't take. It forces you to take all these French electives.
Yeah. I couldn't take
IA
in grade 12, and I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
I could have used those as
hours
to an
Yeah, it's silly.
It really fucked me.
No, it forces you to take stupid electives. And
I didn't realize that.
And it's like, I want to do this elective. It's like, oh, that doesn't mix because that is at the same time, like, period as this class, so you can't take it.
Yeah, right? I remember that.
So I was just like, I'm getting out. Going to English, and I did, and it was the greatest decision I think personally. But there's, with everything you look back.
Did you guys have like weird electives that you could take?
Yeah, I took a psychology class in grade 12.
Okay, because like I took an aviations course.
There was an aviation. I remember that. There was aviation.
I never took. I don't think at our school.
Yeah, there was an aviation course.
I took an aviations course in grade 12. I took this one class which was like a weird like work placement class.
Yeah,
like I got because I wanted to study accounting or whatever. So for I think my afternoon, the last 2 hours of the school day or whatever, I would drive to an accounting firm. And I would just shadow.
That's cool.
Shadow the workers there and help them out and do that kind of stuff. And then like,
oh, that's kind of neat though.
That was a weird ass.
It's weird, but like you could have learned something.
That was quite useful.
Yeah, like a real world.
Yeah. My buddy did the same thing, and he went to an architecture firm to learn how to read plans and stuff like that. So.
So how come you never went into accounting then, like in university?
No, I went into accounting. Yeah.
Do you have an accounting degree?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had a management degree like Rail. Was yours like your one thing accounting and then your majors is management?
Yeah. Just because even if you talk to other people who graduated from the Edward School of Business, they all refer to the one crazy year. That is the year that me and Ray had to choose our majors. Yeah. Because the averages to get into each major jumped up 4%.
Oh wow, that's a big bump up.
That's a bit scary.
Yeah.
So like instead of it being like a 75, let's just say it's an 80 for just even out.
Yeah.
Right?
So like I based on previous years, my average was like I'm good to get into accounting, and then everything spiked up and like holy shit,
that is hot garbage, man.
So I went into management anyways, but my focus is in accounting and finance.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Because like they were thinking of doing that in like carpentry, like in SciAst, until they realized that if they jumped the journeyman exam from a 70 for pass to a 75, their passing like number of people who would actually get their journeyman's ticket drops by like 50%.
Yeah, they can't do it.
And then you're not gonna have people who want to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think for us it was just how competitive our year was.
Oh, okay.
I guess got lumped in with a bunch of tryhards.
Yeah.
What chumps?
Yeah, Dan.
I think the other thing is too, like,
I was the last thing of a tryhard in
I
college.
like it
My
though. Like,
God.
if you're a journeyman like carpenter, and you can't get your journeyman like test after 3 tries, that's how it is. Like, you're done. You can't do it again and get your journeyman after that.
It's
Isn't
a
it
little
something like that?
So if you fail the first time,
Yeah.
you can immediately rewrite.
Yes.
If you fail again, you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can try again. After
Yeah.
your third fail, you have to redo 4th year. And
Oh,
then if you
that's
fail
fair.
again,
Yeah.
you're out.
Well, that's fair, because like if you can't get your shit together and do it,
yeah, it's like an upgrader course that runs you through
yeah.
everything one more time.
If you can't get your shit together and take it seriously, then why should you deserve to be one?
I got lucky. Even if they
you're
had
building
up,
homes and
even if they
shit.
had up the percentages, I still would have passed.
Nice.
I got 76.
But
Nice.
you know what the thing about that though too, right? Is when they increase the percentage, or like we had one course for nursing before, and it was you had to get Aboriginal health studies, and I remember distinctly in college and going, well, let's grab one that's an equivalency, get rid of it because I want to try nursing, right?
Yeah.
And so I went into Native Studies, and I remember distinctly asking the person like, is this going to be equivalent? Is this going to be? Yeah, it's going to be equivalent. It's the same course, like number. Okay, sure. And I took it. It wasn't equivalent, by the way. So that was bullshit. But I remember doing it, and like the thing that made me, that was unfortunate. Like when you're talking about averages raising, same thing. They raised. I remember for nursing at the time, I don't remember what the percentage was, but they just for them when I went in, they raised it just a little bit more. And I remember distinctly, I'm like, oh, if I have to go off post secondary, I'm gonna be in trouble, right? Because like I stopped caring in post secondary. I'm like, there's nothing here I really care about. And I'm in a class of 400, but I distinctly remember having to write a paper on like it was essentially how the Canadian government oppresses Aboriginal people in Canada. And at the time I was in the library and I was researching it. And as I was researching it, this is also when I was in the middle of me not caring and just want to go home and play video games. And so I sat there and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, it's boring. I got my little notebook there. I'm like, I've done enough. I was trying to take breaks in between doing work, right? So I do 10 minutes of work and then you take a 5-minute break. And then turn into a 30-minute break. All that bullshit.
So he's there for 10 hours, only
Yeah,
did an hour of work.
I'm there
for 10 hours.
for 6 hours. I'm in this library. In the first 2 hours of it is me spent watching The Prince of Egypt on my notebook, and the rest of it is me looking up the characters and whoever did The Prince of Egypt and like listening to the song.
Dan's self-realization is like, well, I was here for 6 hours. That's good on me.
I kid you not. I looked up this guy's film theory on The Prince of Egypt and how it represents racism, and I took about 70% of his
my
essay,
God.
and I transcribed it and changed it into Aboriginal people in Canada.
Did you pass?
Yeah. Oh my God. That was the best essay I've ever had written. He gave me an 88. I've never gotten higher on an essay. And I sat there and it was literally a copyrighted and slightly changed version of The Prince of Egypt. It was a film theory, like critique on it.
I mean, I took a Greek mythology class, and like all I did was just watch Clash of the Titans and Hercules. And that was
I hate you guys. I love Greek mythology.
That's
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
At that point, it was just the one class. It was the one
Yeah, the
class I
last
had
one
to
you need,
take
yeah.
because I needed a literature elective or something like that, and just like I'm gonna choose it and just not care.
Man, I wish I didn't get any electives. It's like, hey, man, this is your classes and that's it.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything like that in college, but that's because it's like they're trying to fast track you. Like, so like you do 2 years of SciAst, which is now SAS Polytech. It's the equivalent of 3 years of university, but in 2 years, right? So they're like, boom, 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 boom,
They
boom.
try to condense it to make you into the workforce quicker.
But it's nice though too because you also get hands-on and everything like that, so it's super nice that way. But
it's
I
less
wish I
theory-
had electives though.
Ray
okay.
and I took a physical wellness course in
I remember
university.
Rail saying
Ray was
that.
talking
Yeah.
about that.
It was the most joke class ever.
Ray tried to take it seriously and then threw up in the hallway.
Oh yeah, well, like part of the class we had to go down to the PAC and actually participate in a bunch of the classes, I guess, that they
That's
hold.
right.
So
Isn't he doing laps or something?
No,
No,
Ray
he's
and
on
I,
the bike or something?
Ray and I did a spin class, and like it's like a regular spin class, right? You can take it put in whatever effort you want to in it all, and like I'm just there, just like pedaling at a leisurely pace. She's like, the teacher's like, the instructor's like, yeah, you gotta push yourself. You know, we're going up a hill, and Ray's just giving a fucking 110%.
He got told to push it, so that's what he did.
Yeah.
And then we finished the class, and we go to change, and he just throws up. Constantly, he's like, "Why the fuck aren't you tired?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I kind of just soft passed."
So like that was a class, like that was an elective.
That was part that.
Oh,
like
just that day was one part of it.
Yeah,
like, it was just a day of it, right?
It was just a day that we had to do that. Like we would do other. Like,
so is it like, do you get it honestly? Do you pass if you just participate and everything?
Essentially, yeah.
Oh my god!
Because
So
like we had to learn like
wish.
certain things about like nutrition, and,
of course,
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There was a bit of learning to it, but like. We had a lab to do, like that was part of our lab work. Was we had to do that kind of stuff. So like we did a fitness test, a general fitness test. We spent a class learning how to meditate.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty good.
Actually, okay, and I'll just say just quickly before I forget, because the actual point of my end one was I literally cheated instead of writing my own because I wanted to actually pass. And that's what I realized I didn't actually finish that part. But that's the reason why I originally cheated, was because I'm like, well, I just want to pass, and I'm going to do this terribly because I haven't researched anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Prince of Egypt, do me through. And I changed it entirely. I had to finish that.
It's fine. Yeah, but like the me and Ray
Physics.
physical health and wellness.
Well, I know
what it was called.
I have a buddy like that I just know through like gaming with him and stuff like that. We'd have a mutual friend that he played hockey with like competitively, like pretty well. And he went to Anchorage, like he got a scholarship to go play hockey for a U.S. college, like Division I. So he's a really good hockey player. And his final class, he had one class the last semester, so it was 4 months the semester, right? His last class he ever had to take, and he got like 2 degrees out of it, was trampolining. And all he had to do was jump up and down a trampoline. He didn't have to do any tricks or anything like that. He only showed up half the time, and he got his marketing degree and his major in management. He got 2 trampolining. I swear to God. He's like, it's the greatest class ever. So we'd go, and the season was done because they weren't good enough to make the tournaments and stuff like that. So he was chilling in Anchorage, Alaska for 3 months, just doing the trampolining, and the rest he was playing video games and stuff like that.
Trampolining.
Yeah, man.
My goodness. You know you're a champion. That's the thing though with some of those electives where I'm like, you know what? I understand that the colleges want money, but like, what is this? Like, how is this ever going to help me in real world application?
Oh, for sure.
In case you have to jump out of a 6-story building onto the fireman's trampoline.
That makes sense, because that's there's just so many occasions, and like I remember distinctly too, we had a situation in one of our classes when it was essentially it was a nutrition course, and everyone had to track exactly what you ate for a day, right? And of course you had some people who truly did it and other people who just didn't and lied about it and just been like, who cares? I remember a teacher had a meeting with the class because it was so obvious how many people didn't do it because their diet. She's like, I'm just gonna be outright and say it. Some of you did the project, and truly, I thank you for that. She's like, majority of you clearly did not. She's like, because someone had passed around like hey, this is your cheat sheet, like, you know, use this as your like template. And everyone did like a similar one. So essentially everyone is fat ass pizza lovers. Because like half of us, she was like, I don't know if this is truly one of your normal days, but she's like, from this description, each one of you eats 2 extra large pizzas on a regular day. Because everyone was just like doing pizza and like junk food and like, but it was the thing because it was easy to determine. It was like one slice. One, instead of like how many grams or how many, like everyone would go one slice. And I remember towards the end of it, she got so angry and everyone got called out and we're like, well, yeah, my bad. But like, that's the thing too. Everyone wants marks. They don't care. Yeah. So like, I don't care really about it. I'm just getting through it. But like at the same time, truly like that course, like now I regret it. Cause like who wouldn't want to know more about nutrition? That would be very important. Like I remember they would have even classes about like what would no sat, or if you to be able to put no fat or no artificial flavoring or whatever any one of those labels, you have to actually meet a criteria to be able to make. Mm-hmm. But zero fat doesn't mean zero fat. It just means a low percentage of fat. It's really fun. It's really weird like that. But I didn't really pay that much attention. Oh, anyway,
cool.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna call it there.
Sounds
It was a good trip down memory lane.
It was.
Hearing all your high school stories. Seems like I missed out. I mean, I rarely talk to anybody I went to high school with.
It's not a bad thing though, man. You got a group of friends now, right? That's all that matters.
That's all that matters now.
Hey, Stefan, what'd you get on that test?
Yeah, man. We were supposed to have our 10-year reunion, I guess, and that's not happening either because of COVID.
No.
That's okay.
I wasn't going anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Shout out to everyone in 2010. It was fun. Had a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Congrats to all the new graduates.
Yeah.
Even though probably none of them are going to listen to this. Still, congratulations.
Jayson,
You
make
made
your
it.
cousin listen to this so we can wish happy graduation.
We should. Sorry, did we finish?
No, he's outing us now. I was
My
an
bad.
asshole.
It's an outro. Yeah.
I thought we were
yeah.
still done. That's why I was like, I'm going to go into the other story that I can't tell on air.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. And I guess you're gonna miss out on the story. Bye, guys.
Next.